Hey y'all, it's time for rolling dice and taking names. Tony is on vacation, so I'm taking over co-hosting. Marty and I banter on all sorts of topics, and we have a special taste buds. However, the guys were still able to pre-record a bunch of 5-minute initiatives for y'all before Tony left town. So I'm just gonna stay right here, and we'll talk soon.
Hello and welcome to Rolling Dice and Taking Names. This is episode 354.
Hoo-wee!
I've got you, babe. My name is Marty.
My name is Vanessa.
You are hearing a different voice today because Tony is out on vacation and Vanessa has graciously offered...
Coerced.
Ben Cohurst to sit in to do the intro and outro for this episode. Thanks for sitting in and helping us out here.
Absolutely not sure what all it means.
Well, here's the thing about the show. I know you haven't listened in a while. But
Nobody knows what it means.
No, that's fair.
After 354 episodes.
354.
That's a lot. That's why I went, whoo-wee. I didn't realize it was that many.
Typically, the intro is just a bunch of banter. A lot of it has to do with maybe the song that we named this after. And so I Got You, Babe is the classic song that always ended every Sonny and Cher show, the variety show, and they sang that together. So you and I talk about shows we used to watch as kids. I think I watch more than you because your standard response is...
I lived way out in the country and only got 2 channels.
But there were only 3. So there was ABC, NBC, CBS.
And through the years, we do talk about shows, and I think none of them came in very clear. It was definitely the TV with the aluminum foil on the antenna. You had to turn it a certain way. PBS was always staticky and fuzzy looking.
So for those under 40, basically... You used to have these things called rabbit ears or antenna or a cable that ran up to an antenna on the top of your house in order to receive TV over the air.
That sounds really fancy. Yeah, we didn't have that. Yeah.
Oh, y'all didn't have an antenna on the house?
No.
Oh, and the real fancy ones, you had a thing where you could rotate it and your antenna would rotate so you can get it in the right direction.
Y'all must have been rich. We were way out in the country. My parents lived so far out in the country, like I need to go back and find out from them, like just until recently, like the past few years, has there been decent cell service. Whenever I would go to visit, we couldn't get cell service, so we couldn't call. I'd have to call on their landline just until a few years ago.
Which they still have.
And when I first started going back home after I moved up here and had the boys, there were no cell phones. Get that, listeners. I traveled from Charlotte to Enterprise, Mississippi, and I would stop along the way at payphones.
And this was when basically you didn't have Google Maps to help tell you what the traffic looked like.
And I have no earthly idea how I did it because I am horrible with directions and I still have trouble even with Google Maps. I need the lady to say, in 2 miles, you're going to make a left. So I can start slowing down and getting ready for it. Okay, but we're not talking about directions and traffic. You wanted to talk about what?
Well, basically, we talked about these. Sonny and Cher was a variety show. And you and I have talked about 70s were big for variety shows.
Yes. Yeah.
We're talking Sonny and Cher, obviously. We both watched Carol Burnett.
Yes.
Which we both
loved
enjoyed.
Carol Burnett. So one thing I got to say, and I don't know how it was for you, but we didn't watch TV through the week. There was no TV watching. It seems like it was like Friday night or Saturday night. And that's when we sat down and watched TV. So for me, the ones that I really remember are Hee Haw. Did you ever watch that one?
Oh, yeah.
Hee Haw, Lawrence Welk, and then Carol Burnett. And they came on in that order, I think, maybe. I can't remember that. And I think it was Saturday nights.
I think it was Saturday night, yes.
But I do remember Sonny and Cher.
Right.
But the song that I take away is, and we had to be really, really young. Like, we had to be super young. So it's just like vague little memories, vague little recollections. But I remember a song, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. Do you remember that one?
I don't remember that one because you had mentioned that. And it's like, I don't remember that at all. I just remember the iconic song. Those
are the only words I remember, but I sing it often.
And I forgot about this. You looked it up, but I forgot about the Cher. a variety show.
I liked the Cher show, and I can't remember when it came on, but it always ended with like a really nice bedroom set, and she would be in pajamas, and it was like saying goodnight to the audience, and she would get in the bed and kind of, I guess, recap the show. I really can't remember, but she would always eat a cookie, and I think she might have had a glass of milk. I can't remember. And I am just now remembering this. Did you watch Tony, Orlando, and Dawn?
Oh, wow. I totally forgot about that. I remember it, but I don't remember much about it.
Yeah, I remember watching it, and I remember they would do skits.
Well, did you watch Donnie Marie?
I did not. We must not have got that channel.
You would have liked
I did
Donnie
not watch
Marie.
that one.
So Donnie Marie was probably, I was 8 or 9-ish, something like that.
Now, what I remember, it was a little bit later than that. It was the 80s. Did you watch Solid Gold? You had to stay up really late on Saturday night.
Vaguely, I more remember Soul Train, which was on Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. Soul Train. I love Soul Train. Yep. Well, Solid Gold came on late Saturday night.
I remember
and
now
they had
that
the
you said
Solid
it.
Gold dancers.
Yep.
And it was Marilyn McCoo
Wow.
and... Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. The fact you're pulling these names out is incredible.
I can't remember the other one. It might have been Andy Gibb. I don't know.
There may have been an Andy Gibb.
No, there was an Andy Gibb.
There was an Andy Gibb. I'm just saying it may
I don't
have
know.
been.
He might have been the co-host. I can't remember, but I remember Marilyn McCoo.
Well, now I'm curious. Now, Solid Gold, did they have actual performers on there? I can't remember.
Yes, yeah. And it was dancing. It was like current artists. It was mostly singers and then the Solid Gold dancers.
Dionne Warwick. Other notable hosts were Marilyn McCoo, Andy Gibb,
Hey!
Rex Smith, Rick Dees, Arsenio Hall, and Nina Black.
All of them hosted at various points?
Because it was a long-running show, but Dionne Warwick, I definitely remember. She hosted the first season and returned for guests in a later season. So do you remember on Soul Train, they made the line?
Oh,
and
yeah.
the people would dance from the end of the line and stuff?
We did that on the playground at recess.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, we would make a line. People would dance through it, but we had another chant or song that we would sing.
Sure.
We'd go, strut Miss Susie, strut Miss Susie, strut Miss Susie all night long. And then the next person would come down the line because the next phrase would go, here comes another one, just like the other one. Here comes another one all night long. Oh, and we would just dance all through recess.
All right, y'all, I've known Vanessa since we were 18 years old, and for all this time, I did not know about these stories here.
I think you did. I think you just forgot them because I know I've told the story about Strut Miss Susie.
I don't remember that.
I know this. So this may be squirrel, but I know that's what y'all do.
Sure.
What were some things y'all did at recess? Another very vivid memory I have of recess is the lemon twist.
We had lemon twist.
Yeah, and we would do that and play jacks.
I remember asking my parents for a lemon twist.
Oh.
And
did you get one?
Yeah, and I got an actual one because they had some ripoffs. But I got the real lemon twist. Yeah.
I had a real lemon twist. I'm sure I probably got it for Christmas. Boy, I love that thing.
So we need to explain what lemon twist is. The concept was like it was not jump rope, but it had the same concept where you had a loop that you put around one of your ankles. Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a tubing?
And had a tubing that ran out to the end. And at the end was a weight, which was shaped like a lemon.
Yeah.
And then you twirl it around on your foot. And then you have to hop with the other foot as it comes around.
Yeah. Man, I love that. Something else we did was jump rope. But I never was very good. I could do the single, but then they would start doing the two. I never was very good at that. I would be the one holding the rope and doing the rope with the other.
So we were very much freeze tag. We did that.
We played kiss tag.
No kiss tag. Dodgeball. Dodgeball was huge.
I loathe dodgeball.
I knew you would.
Because it hurts.
Dodgeball was big. We also just had a basketball goal out there. We'd get one. Remember the classic red rubber balls that you used?
Yeah. Now, here's something. When I was in elementary school, we didn't have PE.
Oh, okay. We did.
Yeah.
Oh, kickball. Kickball was a big thing.
I did like kickball. And we would play kickball with that red rubber playground ball. Yeah. Now, you remember I was out in the country. We didn't have concrete surfaces. We were at recess in the field. So we had to do whatever we could do out in the field. We did have like under the walkway, and then that's where we would play jacks.
We had the bus parking lot, which was paved. That's where we went out. And then we did have a field where we played kickball. We had these tires that they gave us to play on. And being kids, we'd push them up the hill and get in the tire and roll down. So Tony and I have talked about this many times about the stuff that we used to do in elementary school. Could you imagine letting them do that today?
I know monkey bars were big. Hang upside down on the monkey bars and flip over.
Oh, yeah. No, we've actually talked about playground equipment before.
So the variety shows. Yeah. So I can't think of any others at the moment.
There were tons of short-lived ones that just didn't make it. I remember the comedian Flip Wilson.
I remember Flip Wilson.
Had a variety show.
Yeah.
So I think every big name person, because they were so big at the time, they kept trying to give them to people over and over to see what was. Oh, the Mandrell sisters had a variety show.
Oh my goodness, I remember that. And they wore their gowns.
Yes.
Wow. Was that 80s?
70s? And by the time we got to the 80s, I was not into variety shows anymore at that point.
So did the variety show, is that what kind of... Now, they still had talk shows, but they kind of... What did they morph into? I know one thing was like the nighttime soap operas in the 80s.
A musical variety show with comedy bits kind of went away. I mean, that's just not really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
There's a lot of music and dancing in those variety shows. People doing covers. That kind of just died off.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering what took his place, like over time as they...
I think just TV dramas, like you said.
Dallas.
Dallas was big.
What other night did y'all watch Dallas?
We did watch Dallas. And then, there was, because of the success of Dallas, how many did you come after that? Dynasty, Falcon Crest. I mean, it just kept coming on and on.
I will tell the listeners this little fun fact about me and you when we first got married, 1993. And we would work, we'd come home, we'd make our little supper, whatever it might be, little, my mind just went blank. The little steakums, whatever else it was. And we would eat on the couch and watch what?
We would watch the recorded episode of Guiding Light from that day.
We both somehow watched Guiding Light. Didn't watch
I don't know.
soap operas really, but we both watched that one.
So I can tell you how this happened for me.
Okay.
I broke my leg my senior year in high school.
Oh, that's right.
I'm laid up on the couch, and my mom's watching Guiding Light. And I thought, and then it's like, after a while, you're just like, so who's that person? What just happened? And then all of a sudden, it's like, I'm watching Guiding Light.
And I think it had to be very similar. Like I must have been in college and was just in the room at the time it came on or something. But somehow we both watched Guiding Light, and we would record it on our VHS tape.
Rewind. Now, all right. So this is funny. Full circle now.
Okay.
So you have kids. Start raising kids. Dinner table. We're going to sit at the dinner table with the kids, and we're going to eat. We've now become empty nesters. Yeah. What do we do now for supper?
We get our supper and sit on the couch and watch a program.
It's no longer a soap opera. But I mean, Vanessa, this is how we watch so much stuff. You and I are constantly looking for new shows to stream and stuff. And when one is over, we're just like, what's the next thing you want to watch? And then we'll sit there and watch an episode of whatever.
And now that you say that, it's really funny because the variety shows were all about just dancing, music, happy, lighthearted. And now we actually look for stuff that, we watch anything, but look for something that has some meaning, some depth.
Yeah.
We dissect it.
Well, and that's, I've said this on the show before too. I said that was a Buffy thing. I think when we saw Buffy, we realized, you can have shows with a lot of depth and character development. And that's kind of what drew us to that. But that's also the time we watch anime. Usually if there's an anime we're watching, currently we're watching Orb.
Yeah.
So that sort of thing, we'll watch that. But definitely series. I can't remember the last series what's the last series we finished up? I can't remember. There hasn't been one in a while that we've really gotten into.
My mind just went blank. I feel like we did just finish a series a few weeks ago and haven't found another where we're watching Orb.
Variety show that we currently watch. I guess it's a variety show. It's a reality
America's
show.
Got Talent. Yeah, I do like America's Got Talent.
We don't watch any other reality show
No.
No, that's not true. This is the last series we watched. I remembered it. But we do like We do like America's Got Talent.
Yes,
it's kind of our summer show.
Yeah.
Because we like all the judges except for Spice is back. And I'm not a big fan of Spice. She's too mean. It's the last show we watched was Devil's Plan.
Yes. Yep. That was it. And that was the series. Yeah.
All right. So,
but I think AGT is what got you thinking about the variety shows, maybe, because we see the different acts coming on. It kind of has that feel, the singers, different acts. And so we eat our supper and we'll watch a show and then we'll do whatever else we need to do. And then always at 7:00,
y'all, we are in a rut.
No, it is a beautiful routine.
That's good routine.
At 7:00, we make a pot of decaf coffee.
Sure.
We give our dog a special peanut butter and yogurt BONE because he's in here right now and
we can't say it because it's not time for it yet. Because at 7:00, if he doesn't have this, he is pawing at us, going, "It's time."
So we'll have a cup of decaf coffee and some sort of little treat.
Not all the time, but yeah.
Well, it should be all the time.
All the time. We need to cut back on all this. We need to have a little treat. Yes. Speaking of little treats, I was going to say, you didn't graciously. You said, "Hey, I got an idea for a taste buds that we're going to do." And
well, we actually had the idea a long time ago because I saw this particular.
We'll save it until after the.
Okay, I saw this particular treat a couple months ago.
Yep.
I mentioned, oh gosh, this would be good for y'all to do for our taste buds. And then we forgot about it.
Let's play the intro song and then we'll get into it.
That sounds good.
Taste buds. Taste buds. Taste buds. Two incredible studs. Taste buds, two incredible studs. Taste buds, they're just a bunch of.
All right, now back to our story.
Back to our regularly scheduled program.
So should we reveal what it is, or are we still kind of teasing it? Because
I think you should full on out reveal it.
Every year there's a Cheerwine festival.
Do listeners know what Cheerwine is? Have you talked about that?
I know we've probably brought it up before. So Cheerwine is a soft drink that was developed in Salisbury. Salisbury, North Carolina. It's basically a cherry flavored cola.
And I can't remember when, but it was early 1900s, wasn't it?
Yes. So it's a very famous local soda.
Yeah.
So where it was started, they have a big festival every year. You and I have gone, and it is major. I mean, the entire town is celebrating. There's food trucks and booths, and everything is Cheerwine flavored.
Right.
So we follow it on Instagram and stuff, and you happen to see that they were promoting Goo Goo Cluster Cheerwine flavor.
Now, I don't know if listeners know what Goo Goo Clusters are. It's a chocolate candy with peanuts. Is it normally caramel?
Caramel and nougat.
Caramel and
some sort of nougat, yes.
And they're about the size of a moon pie. Not as thick.
Should I open this box and see?
Open up the box.
So we hadn't even opened the box because she got this for me from Father's Day. She had to specially order it.
Yes, had to order it from the Goo Goo Cluster site.
Ooh, individually wrapped. So they're about the size. No, they're probably a little bit smaller than a Moon Pie Mini. Just maybe about the same size as a Moon Pie Mini.
Yeah, probably about a size. Oh, well, just for everyone, it is a very nice packaging in red with the Cheerwine logo. Limited edition. Nice.
Cheerwine infused nougat and caramel with peanut covered in a milk chocolate.
I like it. So Goo Goo Clusters have been around a long time.
Yes.
So I grew up eating Goo Goo Clusters.
I didn't eat a lot of them. Where are they from?
We ate a lot of sweets. It's not much to do way out in the country, but eat some sweets and play outside.
No, they're from Nashville. All right, here we go. We're still going to open up the package. Now we go through the entire, go for the aroma. Smells like chocolate.
Ooh, it smells like really good chocolate. And it does. It's peanuts, but other than that, similar to a turtle. So imagine a turtle candy, but with peanuts and then a little nougat thrown in.
Yeah.
And then now this nougat is cheerwine flavored. So here we go.
Here we go. That crumbles everywhere. Well,
They are crumbly.
I get
It's
the chocolate.
pretty on the inside. The nougat is tinted pink, and it looks like, is that like a jelly? A cheerwine jelly?
I got the cheerwine. I got to the nougat.
I hadn't got the cheerwine yet.
There's a little cherry flavor in it.
They're really pretty
It's
on the
almost
inside.
like a jelly.
Yep. That's what I literally just said.
Look, it's like a pink. It's like a pink nougat with jelly. That's good. I taste the cheerwine.
I'm really not tasting cheerwine. But it might be just because I'm remembering it's a thick chocolate. The chocolate is really, really good.
You get mainly chocolate and peanut.
It's really good. It's a good size too. Like I've only eaten half and I'm kind of,
Had enough.
I could eat the whole thing.
See how bad it is? 190 calories.
That's not bad. How much sugar though? Don't read it. Don't read it. Put it down. It doesn't matter.
Oh my gosh. This is hilarious. So, some health people told us, hey, when you buy stuff, try to buy stuff that doesn't have additional sugars added.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I told you that.
I'm just telling the audience that.
Oh, I thought you were telling me that.
Total sugars in this is 23. Added sugars is 22. Okay, this is good.
I'm tasting cheerwine now. It's very subtle. It's really good.
I'm going to give Tony one of these. Since they're
yeah.
individually wrapped, I'll take him one. Because you got 2 boxes. And there's 4
I
per
got
box.
I got 3 boxes.
Oh,
I got 3 boxes total. There are 3 in each box, so I thought the boys
Oh.
each would want one.
oh,
And
there's
then
only 3 in each box.
Yeah, there's only 3 in
Oh.
each box.
Gotcha.
So,
All right, y'all.
listeners,
Yeah.
I told Marty,
Oh, yeah.
I know that moon pie, y'all talk about moon pie and RC all the time, but you might need to do a little goo goo cluster and cheerwine push. Ooh, I really tasted the cheerwine in that bite.
That was good.
Yeah, that is good.
I think they'd sponsor us.
I think they would.
Oh, that'd be great. All right, here's what we're going to do. Before Tony left, Tony and I recorded a lot of 5-minute initiatives that we want to share with you. And at the end, Vanessa is going to join me, and we're going to talk about movies that we've seen in the theater this year, and we're going to evaluate all the movies we've seen in the first half of 2025.
I like that. Did you plan that? Because it goes right into what we watched as children, kind of morphed into, and then now this.
Well, I'll just say yes, but shake my head no. Gen Con's not that far away, and Portal Games has a game I am super excited about coming out at Gen Con called Age of Galaxy. This is a strategic 4X game that is a card-driven game. Only plays in 45 to 60 minutes, and I love these 4X style games that you can play in a compressed amount of time. And Ignacy has a great eye for card games, so I can't wait to try this out. And if you're interested in it, you can pre-order it right now over at shopportalgames.com for just $32. It's regularly $39.95, so you can save a few dollars. And if you pre-order now, you get a free bonus of 5 faction cards. So head over to shopportalgames.com, pre-order this brand new game, and check out the other games they have up right now. And between this and Bohemians that comes out later this year, I think we got a solid release schedule for Portal Games Publishing over at shopportalgames.com.
Five-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
FlipToons from Thunderworks Games, designed by Jordi Adden and Ronaldo Samoas. This is a 2 to 4 player card game that plays in 20 minutes. Everybody's going to be dealt 6 cards of some really wacky cartoon characters that, Tony, you remind me of the classic, is it 40s, 50s style cartoons?
Well,
the
they're in
Ted Avery style cartoon look?
Yeah, I mean, probably, the 50s, 60s, because I don't think they had colored pencils in the 40s or something to do animation. I'm kidding. But I don't think it was, I don't know when the talkies started. Anyway, you said it's definitely a card game, but it's a deck builder. That's how I looked at this game.
So the unique thing about this deck builder, though, is on your turn, you're going to take your deck and 1 card at a time, you're going to draw a card and place it in your tableau. And you're going to do this with 6 cards and build 2 rows of 3 cards each. So 6 cards. And where you place them matters, because you're going to be scoring points that you are fame that you can then use to spend in the market to add more cards to your deck, or dismiss or cull cards out of your existing deck. And why position matters is, Tony, is like in the opening hand, everybody had a card that said you get 1 fame point for every unique card adjacent to you. So you typically try to get that card right in the middle of the first row or the second row and score those points. And then one player at a turn will say, okay, add up how many fame points I got. You got 2 actions, buy or dismiss, and you can mix and match those however you like.
And I kept forgetting about the dismiss, because the dismiss cost you 5 points unless a card had a special action. Now, when you go to the marketplace to buy these cards, normally there's a card cost, but here they are underneath the card costs. So you use your fame points to buy these cards to add to your deck. And some of these cards that when they're bought from the marketplace, they have special actions. So these cards either have special actions when you put them in your tableau or when you buy them from the marketplace. So that's kind of interesting. I also like the fact that when cards go into the marketplace, some of these deck builders, cards slide off, or at the end of a round, they disappear. Here, they're adjusted based on what I would call the priority or the
rank.
The rank?
Yep.
The rank, and it will adjust. So, hey, this card was costing me 15, but now a higher rank came and pushed this one down. Now, this is not a big brain burner, but the other thing that this game brought to the table that I was not expecting, that y'all didn't catch me doing, because I'm so used to, draw a card from your draw deck and then shuffle in. Every time you're supposed to shuffle all your cards and draw 6 cards. You're going to have to really emphasize and remind that rule, especially with people who are so used to, I'm going to draw a card, then shuffle my discard pile. No, always shuffle.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why over the course of the game, you're trying to build the perfect deck to where towards the end of the game, you've got the exact cards that you want coming out every time. And like you said, Tony, I love the rank system. The highest ranked card is always going to cost 15. So that means the more valuable cards always cost a lot of fame to get it. And early on, you're probably not going to generate that much fame, but you can generate at least 3 or 4, which is what the cheaper cards cost. So the cheaper cards are just going to be purchased earlier in the game, but as the game progresses, you'll get the more expensive ones. Now, when does the game trigger an ending? It's when somebody deals out 6 cards and breaks 30 points. Once that happens, you're going to do your draw 6 cards one more time, and then the person who generates the most fame with those last 6 cards wins the game. So it's not like total points or anything like that. It's what you do with that very last hand of cards, which is what I like, because I like, okay, I'm going to try to synergize this deck as best that I can, because you generate points by doing cool things like the rabbit. If you already have a rabbit in place, stack another rabbit on top. Any cards that are stacked together, you can actually count both of their fame points. So there's ways to get more than 6 cards on the table by stacking. There was one card that allowed you to create another row above the existing row. Just really clever mechanics. So you just have to decide, what cards do I want to get to try to get the most points?
Very little interaction between the players. There was one that put a card in a deck, but other than that, it was on my deck, I'm flipping my own cards over, which are bad because I've just turned over fame. But that card that made it flip over maybe was a higher cost card. So you really do have to think about, how is this deck going to work? So it's got a lot more think to it than you originally thought. Hey, this is going to be cutesy and all like that. But no, there's some strategy in how this goes. And I'll be honest with you, when we played this, Marty had this one deck. He was stacking rabbits on rabbits. He was multiplying some rabbits like you wouldn't believe. I thought he had a freaking, rabbit farm going over there.
I did build a good deck, because at the end, I had culled enough cards to where every card in my deck I knew was going to get played. So I kind of knew what my final fame points were going to be.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm over here. I had some great elephants, but I did not want them to come up at the end because they were going to flip over, which isn't too bad. But the problem was that elephant said the card that you just played previous, you get to flip over. Well, lo and behold, that was one of my big point values. I was like, God, I wish that hadn't happened. But anyway, this is a departure for Thunderworks. It's not like their normal cartographer games, role player games. Take a look at it. You're going to be like, this is a Thunderworks game? It is.
It is. And it's a small box game. It's not going to be very expensive. The art is really cool. And it's engaging. Again, every time you play, it's going to feel different because different cards are going to come out into the market each time. So that is FlipToons. And y'all, we're excited to announce that Thunderworks is going to give away a copy of FlipToons to one of our listeners. And like with all of our other contests, all you need to do is join our Discord channel. We have a contest section in there. And I'm just going to put a statement. If you would like to be entered for a copy of FlipToons, just give me a thumbs up. And after 2 weeks, and I'll have a date there showing when I'll end. I'll just randomly pick somebody, get your name and information, hand it off to Thunderworks, and they'll send you a copy of FlipToons from Thunderworks Game. DC Forever, a new deck building game designed by Damon Stone from WizKids Games. Now, Tony, when I first saw this from WizKids, I immediately thought, wait a minute, haven't we played this before? Because Cryptozoic has a deck building game, a DC deck building game that we've played before that is really kind of simple. It's really, really your basic, super basic deck building game. So I thought, well, I'll try this, especially after I heard that this has a little bit more meat to the bone. And I will say, after reading through the 35-page rule book, there is definitely more to this game. Now, this game plays 2 to 4 player. Personally, Tony, I think it's probably best at 2. With a 4 player, each of you, 2 of you play as the hero, 2 you play as the rogues or villains. In 2 player, I just like one's the hero, one's the villain. But what I like about this, Tony, is that it's an asymmetric game. So we looked up the designer of the game, Damon Stone, and he actually designed some of the Netrunner expansions. So this guy has a lot of experience in designing asymmetric games.
Yeah. A matter of fact, I remember when I was going back looking at this, he did one called Opening Moves in Netrunner. If I remember correctly, that was one of the earliest ones, but I think that was one of my favorites. It's the one with all the chess pieces. It was kicked off spin cycle data packs. And I'm trying to remember exactly which. Was he the one? It was Opening Moves one with like the names of pieces, like knights, and bishops and stuff. Yeah, that was cool. That's right. Yeah. And I could be totally remembering this wrong, but it may have been ice that allowed you to move the ice around like on a chess board. It may have been. It's been so long, but when I went and looked at it, I was like, okay. That was one of my favorite Netrunner packs just because of the chess pieces. All right. Yeah. But let's go back to this game that we're talking about, DC Forever. All right. So it is a deck builder in your typical fashion, drawing a certain amount of cards. You will be using the cards that you draw to pay for or buy cards to place into your hand. You then have the option to, after you do that, you can attach them to your heroes. The rogues are asymmetric. They're trying to do some schemes. The ultimate goal for the heroes, which I played, was I got to save the people. I got to save the citizens. Marty's over there trying to kill them. No, I'm trying to get them over to my schemes and try to say, hey, those goody two shoes, you don't have anything to do with them. Why don't you come over here and help me with my schemes? Because in the middle of the table, there's going to be 3 locations. And that's where you are going to confront, the rogues and heroes are going to confront at the locations, and every location's pre-populated with some citizen tokens. Part of my deck includes these scheme cards that I put face down beside a location. And then after, there's a couple phases to this during the planning phase, and these phases are called differently for the heroes and rogues. After you buy cards and put cards in your hand, etc., you have the option to activate your heroes, which you'll have 4 of, and you can pick from 4 of 9 from both sides to build your deck with. You can go and fight with another person that's if I'm rogue, I can go fight against a hero and vice versa. Or I can try to capture, I'll use capture the citizens and put them on a scheme. And once I hit a threshold of the number of citizens that scheme is looking for, I can activate it, and it's usually something good. My goal of the game is to get 5 schemes. The hero's goal of the game is to save 30 people, or you totally annihilate the other side. If you kill everybody's characters, that's the other way to win. Yeah. And I will say, playing as the hero, that was harder than I thought it would be. To me, for this game, it is the balance of, all right, as the hero, I'm going to be trying to rescue people without dying as a hero. Batman bit the dust. All right. Bane broke. Well, you didn't have Bane. Cheetah, for some odd reason, was vicious. She tore Batman apart, and there was no way to bring him back. Some of the heroes, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, had healing capabilities, But for me, it was going to be a race to rescue and get those citizens off those cards before you could activate your schemes. And that's what it came down to. All right. That I need to rescue these people. I'm not going to try to beat you up, but I got to be able to protect myself as well. So I'm sitting there thinking, how do I quickly get over there and rescue these citizens so I can win? And actually, I was doing pretty good at that. And I mean, you got this game down where you had it won. And I was like, okay, I needed to start that sooner than trying to just do 2 damage to Cheetah or 2 damage to the Joker,
Especially when it looks like the rogues that we were playing with had less health than what the heroes did. The heroes are a little bit stronger. So they could take a couple hits. Now, another element too is you also have this called an unassigned deck, where these characters come out and they're unassigned and they go to one location. Either one of us can try to fight that person. If the rogue beats them, they actually join their side, help them out. When you beat them, you basically take them to jail. And there's usually things on the cards that have possible negative effects for both of us. If that card captures any citizens, because there's text on the card that may say, if a confrontation ever happens at this location, it automatically captures a citizen. Hey, when this has 2 citizens on it, the hero's cards cost 1 extra now. So that gives you incentive to actually go try to take that thing out because everything's costing you more.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you're over there beating the snot out of me while Harley Quinn has a baseball bat up the head of Batman. Oh, man. Yeah. Am I bitter about Batman dying? He was a freaking pincushion. I thought he was better than that.
So the game is broken up. There's the plotting phase, which the rogue basically plays cards in their hand. They have a hand size of 10, and then the rogue draws. Then there's the planning phase, and this is where the heroes get to go. Now, the heroes, Tony, only have us start out with a hand size of 6, but there are cards that you could get that increase your hand size. And then we go to the confrontation phase, where we go back and forth, activating heroes, sending them to locations to either fight or possibly try to get the citizens. And then at the very end, you kind of draw some cards, rinse, repeat. Now, that's the very high level of this game. But from what I feel, Tony, this is a pretty deep game, because to really play this game well, you need to understand what each character does, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and what cards to buy. Because each has a set of cards that during your turn, you can look through any character that you've bought and activated. You start with 2, but you can bring in more to your team later on. And you can look through any of these cards and put them into your hand. And it's trying to decide, out of all these cards, what should I get that works well together?
Right. And they call the better powered cards are going to cost you more. Obviously, for me, it was Renown. So you have to balance that of, okay, I need to be able to spend the Renown to bring in the cards for me, or do I want to attach a card and then use it later, empower a hero that I could use later to activate an ability on that? It's a lot of resource management when you're playing this game. How do I want to use the spending mechanism of this instead of I'm just going to buy this stuff and then play a whole bunch of cards, right? Because there's ways to activate. Or if I attach something to a one, hey, if you spend X amount of Renown and discard this card, then Superman can carry 10 citizens versus the 4. He somehow got super strength. I don't know. But that to me was the challenge on the hero side.
Yeah, and especially too when you're deck building. So you don't want to buy everything. You want a thin, well-run deck. So you're not going to purchase everything. And this is where it will take a lot of to me, Tony, it really felt like a lot like an LCG. Marvel's LCG, that is co-op, but it's like, okay, I need to understand what my hero does and what cards are in the deck. And it also has the kind of the mechanic too, to pay for things, you discard cards out of your hand. So every card is going to have some sort of resource value, 2 or 3, etc. So if something costs 6, then I need to discard a total cards where their resource value is going to equal up to 6, and then I can purchase that card. So they're multi-use cards for paying for things or the actual text that it does, which is kind of like Marvel, because you would spend cards to get other cards or activate abilities and stuff like that. But in Marvel, that's co-op. This is strictly head-to-head.
All right, so my final thoughts. If you're looking for a DC-flavored deck building game, take a look at this. 30-minute playtime. If you know the cards.
I think you really got to know the cards for 30 minutes. I think you're looking at an hour for the first several games, especially when you got 9 characters from each side and the different combinations you can make. Again, before you play, you really should take some time to look through the cards of the characters you're going to use and have an idea of the deck that you're going to build and not go into it blind.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate all the characters they bring into this game, to be able to mix match, see what team you want to do, see how you want to challenge the other player. Say, oh, well, maybe I'm tired of Superman. Batman sucks. Actually, what was it? Aquaman. Aquaman sucks from Big Bang Theory. You want to bring in someone else. So it's hard telling, what set you want to do, look through it, see what synergizes really well.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that they did a lot of characters for this.
Obviously, this is ripe for expansions. If this game does well, all they have to do is release additional characters. You got all your base characters and villains in here, like Lex Luthor, Reverse Flash, and all the common heroes that you think you're going to get. But I mean, there's a whole plethora of other characters that you can bring into this thing. I love the asymmetric gameplay. I love that when I play heroes, it feels totally different from playing the rogues. The goals between the two are different. Hand sizes are different. So I really appreciate that too. And actually, there's some of the cards that are different. There was, I can bring the unaligned characters to my side to play. You've got assets on your side that you can play that stay in play or give ongoing abilities and stuff. So I like that both sides play different, just like Netrunner does.
Same here. All right. So that is DC Forever from WizKids Games. Well, like I said, if you're looking for a new deck builder with DC in it, give it a shot.
5-minute initiative is complete.
Game Toppers 5.0 Kickstarter is going on right now, and for me, I think this is the best Kickstarter they've ever put out. Why? The prices are so stinking good, y'all. Huge discounts because Berkey has found a way to drop the price on both shipping and the actual product itself, because all you gotta do is do a little bit of assembly when you get it, which means he's passing that cost savings on to you, and you can see that reflected in the Kickstarter right now. Plus, there are a couple limited edition things on here that I just really like. One of them is the Viking laser engraved oak rails that look really, really cool, but the ones I think I like the best are the High Fantasy laser engraved oak rails that looks like it's written in Elven. That's the exact one that I would want right there. You have leg kits that are now adjustable in height, ranging from anywhere from 24 inches to 40 inches in 4-inch increments. And that leg upgrade kit starts at $69 for a set of 4. Plus, you have the things like the Game Toppers dining cover if you want to cover your table. And then he just has tons of bundles going on in this Kickstarter. So you need to go check this out because there's not much time left and you want to get in on this now. He's looking to ship early 2026. Don't miss these deals. Head over to GameToppersLLC.com for the link to the Kickstarter 5.0 project.
Five-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
It is time to do a little dungeon dwelling, and we got to collect some gems here. And this is in Wizards and Company from Sinister Fish Games with a portfolio of people who designed it. So we're going to just jump right into it. And one of the things we're going to say about this game, Marty, is we're sending monsters to do our dirty work, to go collect some gems in various dungeons. At the end of the game, based on how well they did in collecting various types of gems, we're going to get us a winner.
Yep.
What I found so unique about this game before we get into the rules was the fact that this game allowed we all had the same type of monsters.
Yeah. So we each got a deck of cards, and we start out with a couple cards in our hand at the beginning of your turn. Yep.
Well, we start out with 2.
Yep.
And we start out with 2, and on your turn, you have the ability to place a monster in a dungeon, face up or face down, unless there's some restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you placed one monster, then you get to draw a card. If you place 2 monsters in a dungeon by itself or into a dungeon and they're together, you get no cards.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't place any monsters, you get to draw 2 cards. So it's there's a little hand management going on.
Right. Yeah, and there's some cards that trigger when they're coming in face up, they trigger an ability. A lot of the cards are going to be face down so that when the cards are flipped up, an ability will trigger. So, well, Marty, how do the cards get flipped up? So, based on the number of players, these dungeons are basically hex tiles that are situated around, and you're going to put your monster at entrances of these dungeons. They're indicated on the side where they're an entrance or a wall. And they're going to be in front of some sort of gem, usually the gems you want to get, but there are some cursed gems which you really do not want. But what happens is once every entrance has a monster, that will actually trigger the scoring of that dungeon. The person who put that monster to trigger the scoring gets a little tile that comes out with every dungeon that kind of makes each dungeon unique. That's going to be worth the point at the end. But then you're going to go clockwise around the entrance, and each monster is going to get the gem, but talked about abilities. When they turn face up, they may have a flip up ability that may say, hey, this other monster's strength is a minus something, or I get to move this monster to another place. It's a way to kind of maybe mess up the other people's scoring, to nullify people to the left and right of you, etc. Because in the end, once everybody's collected the gems that they have, you're going to add up the strengths of everybody. Whoever has the highest strength can claim one of two artifact tiles, which could be final victory points added at the end of the game. Or it could be equipment that you can put on monsters to make it a little bit better. Or it could be like a little instance that you get. Person in second place gets the other artifact. Once the dungeon is cleared, you bring out a new dungeon, put new tiles on it. And once all those enhancement tiles are gone, that will actually trigger the end of the game.
Yeah, and those curse tiles, now you're not going to be able to avoid them, but there are ways to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these dungeons, like we said, like Marty was saying, these monsters moving people around. You think you may be winning, and then somebody really mucks you up, and now all of a sudden they've got it. So this is a very quick family game.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, there's not a whole lot of deep thinking going on here. It's, just play cards. Probably the biggest strategic is deciding if I'm going to just play one monster or if I'm going to play two, face up, face down. That's the big decisions that you've got to make and determine, oh man, I don't know what he's placed out there, but I know over in this dungeon, he's got this amount of cards left. So maybe he doesn't have that particular one for that dungeon. Yeah. So overall, for me, it's a good family game.
It is a good family game. And you talk about the cursed tokens. At the very end, the person with the most is going to have -3 points. And then you have to give up one of your gems for every other cursed token that you have. But like I said, some of those artifacts will allow you to get rid of some curses that you may have earned and stuff like that. And sometimes you literally just have to take that curse to possibly trigger scoring. That's kind of what we found. It's like usually that last slot that has a curse, somebody will get it to try to trigger scoring in that dungeon because they feel that they're going to win and possibly get an artifact that they really need. So like you said, it's a light family game. It's one of those that it was all right with the people in our group. I don't know that we would pull it out off the shelf and play it too many times.
Nah.
But thematically, if you have people that are into dungeons and fantasy and all this stuff, and you want to kind of introduce them to some card play, card management, set collection, this might be a good way to introduce them just on theme alone.
That's right. So that is Wizards and Company from Sinister Fish Games. All right, on this podcast, you often hear about a game that Marty and I played back in college that unfortunately has just basically taken over my friends and family, called Oh Hell, which is a card game where you're bidding on the first card dealt, and then the next round, 2 cards, 3 cards, on up that way. There's a popular board game called Skull King that is very similar to that, where the cards have various powers. Now, we got to play Mythical Dice, it was called Mino Dice back in 2016 from Manfred Randall. And this is a variant of what I would consider for Skull King, which I've never played, but you, Marty, told me it is. And basically, on the first round, everybody is going to draw a dice from the bag, and you're going to bid on whether or not your roll is going to win the pot or not. And there's a lot of variations to the dice faces based on their colors, and you've got these special dice. But basically, that's the game. First round, roll a die, bid on if you think you can win. Next round, get 2 dice. Roll 1 dice, roll the second dice to see if you've won your trick. So you're bidding on tricks with dice. That's this game.
Yep, it is basically Skull King with dice. So if y'all played Skull King, like you said, that's exactly what it is. How tricks are won is when somebody rolls a die. There are some mythical dice, 3 dice that are monsters They're like special dice where one minotaurs beat everybody unless it's a mermaid. A mermaid could beat a minotaur. It's basically a rock, paper, scissors type triangle between those three. But aside from those, all the others, if you roll a die of a color, everybody else must follow with that color if they have it. If they don't, they can roll any dice they want. But here's the kicker. At the very end, let's say none of those special monsters came out. Whoever has the highest value wins. It doesn't have to be the lead dice color. Okay? So that's kind of important to know. And these dice have different values. The red dice actually goes up to 7, but the lower value dice, like the gray, only goes up to 3. You know, it's one of those things, the red dice typically always going to be the gray dice, but all these dice also have a flag on it, such that if you roll a flag, that's actually worth 0. So again, let's say you're based on number of players, maybe you play up to 8 dice. So in the 8th round, you got how many tricks of the 8 do I think I can take? We'll place the bid, start rolling. Whoever wins the trick rolls the next die. 2 things of randomness going on right here, Tony. Instead, with Oh Hell, Skull King, randomness is only from the cards dealt to you. Here, there's 2 things of randomness: the dice you draw from the bag and what you roll with those dice. And I will say, for me, that was one extra bit of randomness that would probably keep me from playing this over Skull Kings.
Okay, I understand that. So the fun of this game is the roll when someone should win and they don't. And you just have a good time with it. Other than that, yeah, if you're playing this like a heavy competitive thing, then you are not playing the right game. This is straight out, just have a good time for about 30 minutes with your friends. Not a big thinker when it comes to, the bidding. If you're thinking too much, you're overthinking this because, as we've just said, it's too random. Just think that, hey, if I got 5 gray dice and we were picked 5 gray dice from the bag, it's pretty safe to say I'm got a good bet that I'm going to make a 0 bid, which comes to some strategy because the 0 bid is multiplied by you score 10 points for every trick that you're supposed to take the round. So that's a catch-up mechanic. But this game is brutal on the scoring, on negative points, so you have to pay attention to how that goes.
If you make your bid, if I bid 4, you get 4 times 20, which is going to be 80 points, which is sweet. But if you don't make it, you'll get minus 10 for everyone you're off by. I bid 5, only made 3, minus 20 points.
Or above that, if you made 6 and you bid 3, you're going to get minus 30. So yeah, it's a brutal scoring that people really need to understand and be as they're doing it. So fun game.
Yeah. If you have Skull King, I don't know that I would pick this over Skull King, but there is some craziness. There's some randomness. If you like dice chucking and you're getting tired of Skull King, maybe you want to give Mythical Dice a shot.
5-minute initiative is complete.
You're not going to Gen Con, but you really want some of those cool games that are coming out there? Well, Miniature Market's going to have all those games. In fact, they're going to start popping up right now unless you can go pre-order them. They got a special pre-order page over at their website at miniaturemarket.com where you can see what's coming out, and you always get really good deals on their games. Plus, they have inexpensive shipping, and anything over $100 gives you free shipping. And whenever you order, you can always put it on hold to release at a future time. Maybe you want to get enough to add to get up to over $100 and get that free shipping. This is why you want to make sure you go out to miniaturemarket.com a few times a week to see all their best deals and get a jump on those hot games that are going to be coming out at Gen Con.
Five-minute initiative begins in 3, 2, 1.
Tacta, a card game playing 1 to 6 players, 20 minutes, from designer Jason Tremblay from OP Games. Tony, this is also one of those card games when you think this is too simple. This is too easy. Everybody has a deck of cards, and on these cards are shapes. They're either rectangles or triangles. And you start with a card in the middle of the board. First player is going to basically shuffle up their deck and then hold the deck in their hand. They can play the card at the top of the deck or at the bottom of the deck. They're going to take that and they're going to match one of the shapes on the card with one of the cards that's on the table matching the same shape and just leave it there. And then the next person is going to do the same thing. And over the course of the game, you're going to have all these cards spread out all over the table, But the goal is each of these cards have dots on them. And at the end of the game, after everybody's played all their cards, you're going to count up all the dots showing on your cards, compare them to everybody else. Whoever has the most dots showing wins. Now, something that simple, you think, I don't know, how fun is this going to be? But this is a really clever card placing game, card laying game instead of tile laying. It's card laying.
Don't sit there and think you're going to have a big brain burner on placing these cards. Now, you're going to have limited spots on this, and you're going to be sitting there with the cards in your hands. I mean, the cards can go up to, 6 points or dots. All right. Mm-hmm. And one of the things you're trying to do is to protect your big scoring cards or your big scoring sections of your cards. One, by hoping somebody puts down one that allows you to place your shape on top of theirs, thus eliminating their dots and protecting yours. Because, one of the big rules is you can't have a card covering 2 cards. You can't do that. You got to make sure that they're either the edges are touching or whatever. As people are laying this out and these geometric shapes are being formed, the cards are just angled and turned and pushed. It's not straight. It's not in a grid, which will be a nit of mine about how they can move, and people are moving them around, but we'll get to that in a minute. Also, one other rule that's very important that I had come into play with 6 players is it can't go off the table. The cards cannot hang off the table. So just like we used to do with our old football games, is that football a touchdown when we were playing the old football game? Kicking the little paper football back and forth. And fling your finger up to see if it's an actual touchdown. Boy, we were doing that. If that card flipped up, nope, that card's off the table. I mean, we were hard on that rule about going off the table. You may not play it that way. But yeah, I mean, straightforward strategy of how to hold back some of your big cards and protect the points, or hope that someone doesn't have another card that's going to hurt you when they play it.
Yeah, exactly. I do think the clever thing is you're not drawing cards into your hand. You just literally hold the deck in your hand, look at the front, look at the back. If you want to, you can try to be secretive, not let people know, look at that. Mark's got the big points coming up. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure to be able to block that, because if somebody plays one of the cards and he has like 4 dots showing, you could put a card that covers those 4 dots. I didn't mean to clap into the mic. And they won't get the points, but maybe it's your card that does, and you could strategically put it so that nobody can cover it in return. This is a game that plays super quick. There is one knock I have of it does take a while to calculate points, because by the end, you got a lot of cards lying on the table, and they're not lined up in any sort of way. They're cockeyed and turned 45 degrees and 60 degrees and 30 degrees. And so you're trying to keep count of how many dots you have without counting them twice and make sure you don't miss any. So that was kind of a thing.
Yeah. I mean, when we played it with 6 players, I was able to go to the bathroom and come back, and they still hadn't got all the points figured out. So it took a while. Now, I will say this when it comes to the game and the placement of people sitting there and trying to make sure the cards lined up exactly so that they could put theirs on there. Man, that's where we had a little problem with the game of people sitting there saying, oh, is it covering it or not? Just play the card. Keep it fun. Get close. Don't argue over that. So they enjoyed it. They understood the rules pretty quick. These are non-game players. So yeah, Tacta, it was a winner for the group I played it with.
All right. So that is Tacta from the OP Games.
5-minute initiative is complete.
Hello, it's Ian from Respect the Crit, an inclusive tabletop RPG actual play podcast about exploring new worlds.
Our camera pans down on the world of Ord Mantell.
New characters.
Carolus would like to make a counter offer.
Chinese 2 scoops Charizard.
If that's your voice, I'm going to be so excited.
Yeah. And playing whatever we want to play. Sabak!
What a great game.
From Dungeons and Dragons.
Can you roll another d20?
12.
You, for the next 72 hours, are 12 years old.
Oh no!
To the post-apocalypse.
He's a vault dweller, you could probably tell with the jumpsuit and everything like that. Hey, lads, you gotta tell me where your vault is?
It's not gonna happen.
We've got stories in all kinds of settings, including video games.
This is gonna be a Sephiroth-free experience.
Horror.
Crawling out of the mirror, a nightmarish amalgamation of twisted limbs and jagged teeth, its visage a grotesque mockery of humanity.
Oh my God!
And a galaxy far, far away.
This is fun, let's do it again! And then he'll punch it and we'll go into light speed.
The dice tell a story, and we have a hell of a lot of fun rolling with it.
No way.
No.
Are you
Joking
me?
Oh my god. This is so. Yes.
Whatever the system, miss or a hit, you always gotta respect the crit. Join us bi-weekly every other Wednesday for characters, campaigns, and new episodes, anywhere podcasts exist.
All right, so Vanessa, Tony never goes to the theater anymore.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so they were, before the pandemic, I think they had the pass to AMC and they went all the time. Since the pandemic, they just haven't gone back.
Yeah.
So when I'll go, hey, have you seen? It's like, no. And even when we do our summer draft, we're talking about, we rank them on whether we'll see them in the theater or not.
Yeah.
The understanding is, this is a movie I want to see in the theater, but Tony said I probably won't. He'll be like, it's worth seeing in the theater, but I'm not going to do it.
I can understand that. I can understand why people may not want to go. We have been lucky in that we found a local theater only about 20 minutes from us, NCG Monroe, and it is a small but very nice theater, always clean, and never a lot of people.
Never crowded.
Now, you did find that, I don't know if I'm going to say this right. So a movie comes out, I'm just going to throw a time out. A movie comes out on July 4th. You can actually go see it the evening of July 3rd.
Well, yeah, that's been for a while.
That's
Thursday
a known thing.
Thursday viewings.
Oh.
Thursday viewings have been but remember years ago, a Thursday viewing was a midnight showing only, like at 12:01.
No, I never knew that.
Yeah, so at 12:01 you could see the movie, and what they started doing
we don't
was,
go out past 10 o'clock in the country.
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, I remember like when the prequel Star Wars came, people go see it early, but early was just like basically midnight on Thursday night. So midnight showings, which was a big deal. But they end up just started backing them up till like literally you can just go watch it at any time on Thursday. So, and that's when we typically go. Is there something we want to see? We'll typically go on Thursday. They got the nice reclining seats here. And the big thing is at the beginning of the year, you can pay like $25 for a large plastic bucket, and they'll refill it with popcorn for $4. Basically, it's $4. They'll fill your bucket. It's refillable the entire show.
Yes. So we probably...
Oh, I don't
counting.
want to.
So we fill it up before we leave. We bring a bucket home to watch with whatever we're going to watch at home for a couple nights. So I would say, including that refill, we probably do it 3 or 4 times. We probably refill it.
It's bad. I'm addicted to pop. I'm addicted to salt. You're addicted to sweets. I'm addicted to salt.
Yeah, I am addicted to sweets. And sometimes the popcorn can be a little bit too salty.
It can be.
And I don't like the butter.
Yeah, we have to have 2 batches. So we have to, y'all, this is the whole thing. So I'll get the bucket half full, popcorn, fill it up, go in the theater, pour the top out of the popcorn bucket on her little tray so she can have non-buttered popcorn. I take it back, fill it to the top, and put butter on it.
No, they used to give us a lid and we would fill up the lid, but now we have to line my tray with napkins and then we put it over it. It's great. And then I pull the little tray up and it's almost like just right at my mouth level. I barely have to move just to get the popcorn in there.
What are they doing with that poor woman? Spreading out popcorn in front of her on her tray. Okay. All right. So here we go. This is the list of movies that we've seen in 2025 in the theater.
Okay.
And let's just mention some of our favorite ones so far for the first half of 2025.
Okay.
Here we go. I'm just going to run through whatever comment on it.
Okay.
Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Captain America Brave New World, Mickey 17, The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie, Drop, The Accountant 2, Thunderbolts, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, Ballerina, F1 the movie.
Wow.
So 1, 4,
I did
5,
forget
6,
about some
7,
of those.
8, 9, 10, 11 or 12 movies that we've seen in the theater. Highlights for me out of this, I totally forgot one. I totally forgot Drop. We loved Drop.
Yeah, we did. And I've told a lot of people to watch Drop. I think Drop is a good one to watch with adolescent.
It's PG-13.
Yeah.
But it's a Blumhouse. Was it Blumhouse? I think it was Blumhouse. Yeah. Which is typically, the R-rated terror type stuff.
Yeah. So for me, listeners, I just don't like a lot of foul language. So that's kind of like a gauge for me. Sometimes that's very distracting in a movie. And that one had very little. It was a very good story. It takes place Just like there's just basically one setting.
Yeah.
And it all takes place in that.
I like stories like that where there's like, it's when done well. Like one that really sticks out to me too is a phone booth.
Yeah. And I vaguely remember that one.
That was really good.
But the acting was really good.
Yeah.
Directing and acting, and that was really good in Drop. Do you want to go from the beginning, or we're just saying one?
Just really quickly, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 I really liked.
Yeah, it was good.
For a third movie,
like-
I thought
yeah.
it was really good.
You were worried about that one going in.
I was.
And we watched the second one to prep for that one, and we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, Sonic has become a good series.
Yeah.
Captain America: Brave New World that was not good for me. Neither of us really liked that movie.
We didn't. It was the writing, and there could have been better writing in that one.
Yeah.
And it was a shame because we like all the characters, but something fell short in it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, one I had high hopes for. It ended up coming out as all right. Mickey 17. Now that had a lot of language in it.
So it had so much language that it makes me not like it. And it was weird. It had a lot of weirdness to it, but overall, it was a good message and theme.
Oh, 100%. The story, acting was great.
Yeah.
The scenes were really good.
Yeah, but it was kind of a weird storyline and some weirdness in it.
Robert Pattinson's a good actor.
He is.
He's a good actor.
He was a good. It was good acting. And
The Day the Earth Blew Up, Looney Tunes movie. I loved it. It was like a classic Looney Tunes type movie. It was just a fun movie.
Yep. It is what you think it would be. That's what it was. Yeah.
Drop, we talked about. Accountant 2. We came into The Accountant late. We didn't watch The Accountant until like last year or earlier this year for the first time ever. Accountant 2 had a different feel. I liked it, but I think didn't you say you liked Accountant 1 more?
I liked Accountant 1 more.
Yeah.
I felt like they changed Ben Affleck's character a little bit, and I liked it more so in the first one, but it was still a good action. And I can't remember the language, so I know there was language,
John
but it
Bernthal
must
was in it,
not.
so there's going to be language.
Yeah. But we like the Accountant movies. Yeah.
Yeah. Thunderbolts.
I absolutely loved Thunderbolts. I loved it so much that I was hyped up and ready to go see it again. I thought it had...
No, it didn't get bad reviews.
Oh, it didn't?
No, the problem was
it did.
nobody went and saw it.
I don't know why people didn't go and see it.
It got good reviews, critics, and audience. Just nobody went and saw it. I think it's just fatigue. It's like,
well, I tell you, it feels very different and very new. And if anyone out there was on the fence about it, please watch it. It had a good theme and underlying message of don't be alone. Like, don't be alone. You need people. You need people. But it had it all. It had drama. It had comedy. It had action. It was really, really good.
Yeah. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
We liked it.
Yeah, we did. I think our consensus was, I heard this from a lot of people, the first hour is pretty slow because they almost have to fill you in on a lot of stuff. They try to no spoilers. A lot of stuff they try to tie in from previous movies. So you feel like a lot of the time is like, remember. All that is led to this sort of deal.
It's worth seeing, knowing that Tom Cruise did all of his stunts.
The second, third act in the submarine, there's no giveaway because you've seen the trailer, and the submarine and the airplane is absolutely amazing.
And I will say, there is a minor character in it that literally stole the movie for me. So y'all got to go see it to try to figure out who that minor character is.
Great teaser.
She just stole it.
Great teaser. Ballerina. We're big fans of the John Wick universe, so this is a spin-off of that takes place between John Wick 3 and John Wick 4.
And I felt like there could have been a little more story to it, and the action scenes seemed like the same scene in a different setting. And I do like action. I like action scenes, and I like fighting scenes. And I think I told you this after, like they had her doing like the same thing over and over. And it's like, I can't remember what she had, I don't know, but whatever it was she was using. And you explained to me after, and they do say this in the movie, that she's not going to be as strong as people she's up against. She's not going to be as fast. So she has to cheat and fight not that girls cheat, but she has to fight like a girl.
Right. In fact, they actually say
they
that.
Say that to
her. They said,
her.
you have advantages that you need to take advantage of.
Yeah.
And so she does that well.
Yeah. And so after, we talked about that after. So now I might look at it a different way, is that she's just using what she had. I don't know if that made sense. I wish that there had been varied fighting scenes. There was something really cool toward the end that they used, but then I felt like they overused it.
Yeah. It's in the teaser trailer, but just go see it before you say. You'll know what it is.
And I wish that there had been a little more story. Like, I feel like she has an awesome character, and I feel like it could have been developed a little more.
Oh, that's fair. And the most recent thing that we just saw, actually last night as of this recording, is F1.
Man, that's a great movie.
F1 of this list might be my favorite of everything we've seen so far.
Thunderbolts is up there for me because it elicited every emotion. I think I was teary in a good way leaving it. And I like movies when I leave that I want to go take karate or something, or something like, I just want to go, yeah.
Well, I wanted to get in the car.
Oh, Marty wanted to speed on the way home. F1 had everything. It had everything you want in a movie.
It's a classic movie. It's like a classic Hollywood movie. And I can't remember, did you say you didn't know this till like this morning, that the writer and director is the same one that did Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the story's totally different. I think I said it is not Top Gun on a racetrack.
Right.
It's a different story. Awesome car scenes, awesome acting, awesome directing. Brad Pitt was awesome. The young guy in it is awesome. Everybody is great in that movie. Supporting cast is awesome. Language is minimal.
It's PG-13.
Yeah, but a great story filled with awesome car scenes.
Except
no one will believe this story that you're about to tell.
this movie is about 2.5 hours long. We are 2 hours and 15 minutes into it.
Yeah.
Something like that. Saying this, there's no spoilers. This is a racing movie. There's a big race at the end. You'd probably expect there's going to be something like that, all right? So there's this exciting, intense race at the end of the movie. With a lot of these type movies, they let the audience know what's going on through an announcer or something like that. And the announcer said, now it's time for the last lap. We're on the edge of our seat.
Literally, I had moved the tray back,
right,
moved the popcorn away from my mouth, and we are like on the edge of our seat.
Because we just have no idea how this race is going to end. And all of a sudden, there was a crack of thunder outside the theater, and the power goes out in the entire theater. So it's like, one lap to go, crack, nothing.
And the whole theater's like,
it's like, what
happened?
So then power immediately comes back on. The movie starts back up, but it's audio only. We got no picture. And at this point, all we hear is this music, and you could tell by the music, something is happening in slow motion. And then all of a sudden you hear cheering. and like, what happened?
We have no idea how it ended.
So through the dialogue, we got some breadcrumbs on what possibly happened for the race. But then there's like a denouement at the end where it kind of wraps up everything. And we're like, what's going on? And then you hear music and credits roll, and then the lights come on. And it was like the people in the theater, like, the projector went out, it won't come back on. Here's some free passes to come back again. It's like, but I just need to see the last 10 minutes.
Couldn't believe it. And I also thought it was funny too. So this is when the theater's dark, there's nothing on the screen, and there's audio playing, and we're sitting there, and then one of the workers comes and taps me on the shoulder and says, "There's a big storm outside and the power went out."
Are you going to tap everybody in the shoulder? What's going on?
Maybe she thought I looked pitiful and needed to know that.
I told Vanessa after we left the theater, I've never had that feeling of like, I really need closure.
It was a strange feeling. And everybody, like, as we're leaving, everyone in the theater is talking to each other because it was such a strange feeling.
Yes. And it was like, it was at the most...
It was
at the biggest moment of the movie. Like, literally, the climax of the movie was happening and getting anybody to be resolved, and pop.
You hear the rug pulled out from under you, or it was just so, and I feel like everybody was tense. My body was tense, and just boosh, just like that. It was strange.
Yeah.
It was strange.
Yeah, it was. But, so Vanessa looked up to kind of see what happened and why, but I still want to see it. Like, I still want to see it on the screen.
I feel like we still missed, things by not.
So, and people are like, how can you say that if you didn't see the ending of it? We missed the final 10 minutes. Everything up to that was absolutely amazing.
And I want to say the movie was very good at, you cannot predict this movie.
No way.
You cannot predict it.
You can predict potential outcomes, but no way you would predict what it's going to be.
And character development was outstanding in this movie. It was outstanding. I felt like I knew everybody and I wanted to hang out. Well, I did.
You just want to hang out with Brad Pitt.
I did. I do.
In the ice bath. There's an ice bath he gets in, y'all.
The other guy.
The young JP?
No.
Javier. Birdine? Bird.
Yeah. I'll hang out with him.
He's in the movie. He's really, really... Him and the relationship between him and Brad Pitt's character was really, really good.
Like, I think you gave it a 9 out of 10.
I did.
Just because in certain spots the pacing could have been a little bit quicker.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But that was about the only reason.
Yeah, that was it. Music was good. Action scenes were good. Character development, acting, directing. And I never was into car racing. I really didn't even know much about it until I moved here because NASCAR is huge here. Do we have time to keep talking?
Just go ahead. I don't know. In post edit, I need to see how much time we have left for reviews. There may be just one 5-minute initiative, but go ahead.
Okay. So we watched as we're finding things to watch. Like on the weekends, we usually like to watch a movie, and so we'll look for a movie. And we watched the one Gran Turismo. Was that it? Where the video
Gran
game,
Turismo.
Yes, we really enjoyed that movie.
Yes,
that was a very good movie.
Yeah.
It was very interesting to see car racing from that aspect, and I kind of got interested in it from that movie.
Is that F1?
No. I don't think they were F1. No.
You're right.
Yeah. Then when you wanted to see F1, I was all about seeing it because we had seen that other one. Mm-hmm. And it was really nice to compare the two in how they race and the racing styles, and that is crazy dangerous.
Yeah. What's interesting, Gran Turismo is based on a true story.
Yeah. And we really like that one. That's a good one to watch.
Yeah. I think I like F1 more, but still, it was...
Oh, yeah. It was good. And then... I know it was not at the theater.
Go ahead, because it's fresh on our mind.
It is fresh on our mind.
Recency bias.
We watched, it's called K-Pop Demon Hunters, and that is a fantastic movie. And you could watch that one with...
Oh, it's for kids' movie.
I don't know how... It has demons, that's the only thing, but they're cartoonish demons.
Yeah.
It's lighthearted, but it had a good message as well.
I don't know, the name sounds like what? K-Pop Demon
Hunters?
So it's based in Korea. And it's based on Korean mythology. That's where some of the demons and stuff.
Oh, I didn't know that.
From.
Yeah, and it's pop songs,
and it's musical. I mean, it's a musical
to
the point to where we listen to the soundtrack the next day.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I want to sing it now, but I won't because I don't sing good, but I want to sing.
My soda pop. Oh yeah, no, that was good. It's on Netflix right now.
You saw somewhere like it was a sleeper. Like you read or watch reviews and you get ideas of movies and say, "Hey, you want to give this one a try?" And
I was watching a review of a YouTuber I like who was reviewing Elio, the new Disney Pixar movie, as I drafted that, so I was curious how it was going to be. And he was like, he did not care for it all. But then he said, as an aside, though, we did just watch K-Pop Demon Hunters, and we really liked it. So that's where it came from.
It was really good. It was good.
Good animation.
Very good animation. Done in the style of Into the Spider-Man.
Spider-Man into the multiverse, the Spider-Verse stuff, because it's from Sony Animation.
Yeah.
So it kind of has that unique brand of animation. Some people don't care for it. Tony said he didn't like it at all. He said it messes him up. And I can understand there's a lot of flashing. The frame rates are kind of odd. But
I felt like K-Pop Demon Hunter was much less than Spider-Verse, though.
Yeah, because Spider-Verse did use the multiple types of animation depending on the character that was on the screen. And this was a consistent type of animation throughout.
I wouldn't have even said it was the same.
Yeah.
looking at them. And I do want to say now that we have free movie passes, you weren't hyped up for it, but I do love some dinosaurs.
Yes. We're going to go see the new Jurassic Park with Scarlett Johansson.
Yep.
And we've already got tickets for Superman.
Yep.
So we'll be there that Thursday night.
And then also coming up is Fantastic Four.
Yeah, while I'm at Gen Con. If you want to go see it, go ahead. That's one of those that I think it's going to be fine. I want to see it in the theater, but I'm not expecting a lot. And do you have any interest in the new Naked Gun with Leslie Nielsen? Not Leslie Nielsen. Oh my gosh.
Liam
Neeson.
Yeah.
Oh, it has LN. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'll go see it.
Yeah. Okay. Did you watch the original Naked Guns?
Not at the theater.
Oh, okay.
I think that was one that we must have rented because you liked it so much.
Mm-hmm. It's my type of humor.
Yeah.
She's not into the dry, silly humor like Monty Python and stuff.
Some I do like.
Wow. So thank you so much for coming on and doing I just needed to fill out a little time for the intro and outro. We got a full episode without anything else in the middle, probably.
You might have to just do it in 2 parts.
So this episode is probably a little bit longer than normal, but you still got a lot of good reviews. I know packed in a lot of 5-minute initiatives, so they're short little things that we played. Tony will be back in our next episode. We got some games in the queue that we're getting ready to check out. Some that's going to be coming out at Gen Con. So once again, Vanessa, thank you for sitting in the Tony's chair over there.
Absolutely. I kept it warm for him.
So with that,
keep rolling dice
and taking names. Hey y'all, thanks for listening. You can find links to all our socials and discords over at our website, rolldicetakenames.com. We love all the interactions you give us on social media and in our Discord channel. Tony will be back next episode, so we'll see you then. Fantastic job co-hosting. So you want to sit in this chair every time Tony's on vacation?
Sure. We better go to a lot more movies.
Hey there, I'm Hugh from Podderation. If you liked today's episode, why not check out Dice Will Roll, the queerest Pathfinder show on the planet? Join a crew of 4 friends asking the important questions about RPGs, like, is it cannibalism to eat a polymorph chicken? From getting 4 nat 1s to the roll to standing up to the darkest forces in the multiverse, Dice Will Roll is available wherever you get your podcasts.